See, it's very popular right now to build systems in your business, and you've probably come across a bunch of videos talking about content systems, but nobody actually shows you how to build one. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through exactly all the systems I personally have and how to build one for yourself so that you're able to win with organic land acquisition. The problem you're facing right now is that you're not able to get any results with content. Your content system is not performing well or as you expected it to perform. So in this video, I will go over exactly how to create a system and why yours is not working well. And specifically, we're going to be covering systemic thinking, front-end content systems, and then back-end content systems. Let's just get straight off into it. So first of all, I want to talk about system thinking because not a lot of people actually showcase or explain to you how do you build a system. Because it is very easy for anybody to sit down and give you a template and you copy paste that template. But for you to actually create real life leverage within your company, you need to understand how systems work in the first place. The thing about us is that everything around us is a system. The video you're watching is part of a system, and all of your marketing is part of a system. So for you to truly build good content systems, you need to understand the nature of systems. Each system has four main components to it. That is input, the system, the mechanism that produces the output, the feedback loops, and the conditions in which the system actually exists. Now, these are very, very important for you to understand because once you understand these four components, it's very easy to build off of all of this. The key thing you have to understand is that if you're unhappy with the output of your system, it is because it was built for that. This is very important for you to understand. No matter what you think of doing, a system will never be able to exceed or be at an efficiency over 100. It is physically impossible. It is not possible at all. It's an impossible task. So if you're unhappy with your current systems and how it is performing, it is entirely because you built it for that, whether that be intentional or most likely it's not intentional, right? But you have to understand this concept. So when we build a content system, our conditions don't change much. That is, the market might not change that much. Like obviously the market changes a little bit. You've got different things that come up, but in general, nothing really changes that much. And your output is worse than what you want it to be. So if you think about this, we've got four variables within your content ecosystem or a system that you want to build. The conditions of the market don't change as fast as other things do. So we're going to consider the conditions to be sort of stable and constant. So this variable is constant. Your output is something you don't like. So obviously to change the output, we need to focus on two main components of the system. That is your input and the feedback loops. Because since condition, system, and output are constant variables, these two are the only variables that you can change for you to see different results. That means your current content system does not require you to research your niche. To build a content system, you don't need to do more market research at the moment. I assume you have a good understanding of your market. In most cases, you're providing insufficient information to your system and have bad feedback loops. If I ask you a question right now, what is a feedback loop you have in your content system? Will you be able to answer that question? Do you know exactly how does the output and how does the output feed into the input and build a system that progressively improves with time? You don't have an answer to that. And in most cases, you're not providing enough information or inputs to the system in the first place for it to actually give you proper outputs. That means we need to focus all of our attention in providing the right variables and having a methodology for us to provide insights into the system, if that makes sense. So that takes us into front-end content systems, or how do you build systems for your front-end marketing so that you're able to actually create the leverage you need. We all know there are three stages of content we need to produce, right? But in most cases, you're producing it completely wrong. Like everybody knows the three stages of top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. And what I mean by that, by saying that most people make it wrong, is that you don't really understand the intention of every single platform. You don't know what the point of every single stage of this funnel is actually meant to be. The goal of top of funnel content is for you to generate likability for your brand. It is not to generate attention, it is not to generate trust, none of that bullshit. It's to create likability because you've got four layers to building a brand. It is likability, trust, credibility, and admirability. That means you need to first of all have the first level down, that is likability. People should like who you are as a person, because if they don't like who you are as a person, what is the point? It makes zero sense. Now let me explain the goal of each stage properly. Since we've already covered the top of funnel is for likability, middle of funnel is where you want to educate your audience. This is where you create credibility. This is where you create awareness, education, provide value. That's what I'm doing right now, right? With the video that you're watching, I'm providing value to you in terms of solving a problem that you face. Bottom of funnel is where you want to showcase the elements of conversion. This is where we move on to the next two stages of branding, that is credibility and then admirability. That means we want to provide assets, visual assets, proof around why we are the best at what we do. Because that is when people actually trust you, and that is when they're going to convert. That these are the intentions or goals of every single level or every single stage of any funnel that you build out or any content funnel that you build out. The problem is that there is no governing principle for you to keep in mind when you want to create multi-funnel content. So that's why we leverage a concept. This was by, I believe, Plato, that is ethos, pathos, and logos. This was a concept by Aristotle to help explain the best way to communicate for persuasion. That means these are the three core components required for you to create maximum conversion and persuasion with the things that you do. So the best kind of front-end marketing is where you can have a complex mix of all these three things. That means your marketing has to be a synergy of these three things. So if you take a look at ethos, it is credibility and authority. Ethos means credibility and authority. Pathos means emotion. Logos means logic and reason. That means your marketing should stimulate the emotion of the viewer, provide logical explanations to listen to you, and provide credibility that you're the best person to actually solve this problem with. Without these in place, you drastically reduce the effectiveness of your system, because if you don't have these in place, you will never be able to create the leverage you need. I can, by the way, send you this document for free completely. You can just DM me on Instagram, which is linked in the description. So what you need to answer for yourself right now is, first of all, what emotion does my audience value, and what do they crave to feel? What is an emotion that your audience actually wants to feel? Because if you don't know the emotion that they want to feel, how do you expect to create any level of leverage? You literally cannot do that. This is very important for you to answer. Second is, what are some logical explanations I can provide to convince them to buy? What are some logical reasonings? What are some logic-based decisions you can make which will convince them to buy? And thirdly, what are some pieces of social proof I can provide to show evidence of my skill? What are some pieces of social proof you can provide that will showcase to your viewers that you're someone trustworthy? When you have answers to these questions, you can create so much more clarity for yourself and for the brand that you want to make. For example, I know for a fact you crave validation and likability. You crave that. You have a deep desire to feel validated and feel like you're liked by other people. That's why you post content. Right? Whenever you get a lot of views, whenever you get a lot of likes and people are saying nice things about you in the comments, you feel good about yourself. And I know you crave that stuff. I know you crave validation. I know you crave likability. So if you study my content, you'll be able to notice that I, in many cases, provide different elements and talk about different elements which make you feel a validation. I'm providing the emotion that you need. That is the level of understanding of your audience you need to have, and the understanding of the pillars of your brand you need to have for you to actually create levels of persuasion that your competition cannot do. But just having good front-end marketing is obviously not enough, because you can get a fuck ton of leads, but if they just don't buy, there is no point to it. So because front-end marketing is not that hard to execute, in all honesty, it's easy to fix. And because it is easy to fix, it is not a moat you can have over others, because if everybody can do it, it's not really an advantage you have. The real moat you have is your back-end systems, because these are the systems which govern how your marketing actually performs in terms of revenue. This is very, very important for you to understand. Back-end content systems will help you create the leverage you need, because most founders lack in the data tracking department. I know you don't like to track data. I know you hate doing that shit. But Rohit, what metrics do I even track? It's very simple. You've got a few key metrics, which I'm going to tell you right now, which along with all of the vanity metrics of views, likes, all of the bullshit that everybody does, you got to do that plus track these metrics, because these metrics will show you the insights as into your buyer behavior. So there is, first is qualified followers per day. There is a percentage of people who fit your ICP criteria or your ideal follower criteria. And in the ideal scenario, if you want to really like build a brand that makes a lot of money, it has to be 10 a day. Like you need to minimum have 10 qualified followers per day. If you're not having that, you're not at the level in which you can create revenue or like generate revenue with your brand. Second is profile visit to follow ratio. That is the percentage of people who land on your profile and convert to followers. A good aim is 10%. 10% profile to follow ratio is actually really, really good. The third one, which most people don't do, is unfollow to ABR. That is the correlation between unfollows of people and your average booking rate. That is, if your average booking rate does not really go down or is unaffected, but even though you're losing followers, that means your content is filtering out the right prospects. It is keeping the broke ones away, and there is nothing wrong with that. But if you feel like If you can track and know that if people are unfollowing you and your ABR is going down, that means you're losing qualified followers, you're losing leads, and you need to change something about your profile or your content strategy to fix for this issue. And the fourth one is YouTube bio link clicks to booking ratio. That is the number percentage of people who click your link in bio on your YouTube videos and convert to book calls. And on top of this, you track all of the basic KPIs of sales, appointment, booking, closing rate, all of the same typical stuff that everybody does. If you just have these systems in place and you just track these numbers, you will be able to find bottlenecks within your content that shows you exactly how much you're actually losing every single month, how many things that you need to fix, and what are the things that are actually working for you. Just tracking these metrics, you will be able to understand the flow of throughput through your entire content system. Throughput is the rate of flow of outputs from a system based on the inputs. So for us to truly build a proper system, we need to understand the inputs we're trying to provide to the system. That is why we have the first layer of data trackers. These data trackers measure the outcome of your front-end marketing. That means we have front-end marketing systems that is ethos, pathos, and logos that generate attention, and the back-end systems then provide insights as to how well the front-end department is actually working, so that you can provide and build a feedback loop to actually build a content system. But the key problem that most people have is that they don't really like to do data tracking. That's why you need to build a system to do all of this automatically. That's why we built the AI content attribution system. So let me show you how it looks like. So this is just a template of how it would potentially look like. Is that you can see the cash collected generated every single month. You can see the calls booked, the total content views, the track link clicks. You can see your attribution funnel, see how many people are clicking the links, how many are captured, how many become calls, how many get closed as clients. You can see the recent activity of your leads as to who has clicked your video, all of that beautiful stuff. Then secondly, you can connect your Instagram. Now, as soon as you connect your Instagram, you'll be able to see your followers, your average reach, profile visits, bio link. You can track the metrics we just spoke about very efficiently. See the follower growth, 7 days, 90-day follower growth, the reach versus engagement, and then obviously the reel performance breakdown. That is, if for example you've got a lead magnet buy or like a lead magnet reel, you can physically see how many shares, comments, engagement rate, the CTR, and how much revenue is specifically attributed to every single reel that you put out. That is, if for example it gets 142,000 views, if it's how much money each reel has made based on the link clicks that your leads have. You can also connect your YouTube account and see all of the same metrics that we just talked about, but also be able to see revenue attributed to every single video that you've put out and AI insights for you to leverage. So we build this system in such a way, and we build this system for our clients in such a way that you can connect it to Claude with an MCP server, so that you can use this data in Claude to come up with content ideas and scripts and whatnot. So you can change your content strategy. You can see exactly how much money every single reel has actually made. And we do that by generating smart links, that is links which remember the device or like the user who has clicked it. So you can generate infinite like smart links, and you will be able to see, for example, let's say I click your link 10 times, you'll be able to see that I have clicked the link 10 times and not that they are 10 clicks. So you'll be able to see, for example, when after a lead books in a call, it automatically updates the name and provides a lead journey. So let me just show you how that looks like. It will show you the entire lead journey after the book in a call, the amount of time required for them to actually convert into a lead. And you can see exactly, for example, if they clicked a lead magnet reel, they watched this, they DM'd you, whatever, they clicked the link in bio, they watched a YouTube video, they clicked the description, they clicked the Instagram story link, they booked in a call. After they book in a call, it directly updates everything and shows you a lead journey for every single lead that comes in. You can see the first touch point it has, the last touch point, how many touch points, time required, and the revenue attributed for every single lead that books in a call. Now imagine this amount of data being used for creating content. This is by far the best content system you could ever have, because you don't have to worry about anything. We do this for our clients, done for you. So if you want to know exactly how we can build this out for your business and install this department in your business, click the first link in the description. It's a VSL. I'll be honest, it's a VSL, but it'll explain better on exactly what the system has, how we do it, what are the guarantees, all of that beautiful shebang. So you can click the first link in the description and see all about it. Because building systems like these will actually give you leverage and insights as to what is working well in your industry and how you can leverage and position yourself. That's it for today. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.